In this video, I will present the 10 most difficult quests in old school RuneScape. I'm ranking these based on 3 factors, those being the list of skill and quest requirements, the difficulty of the boss fights considering little to no prior PvM experience, and the total amount of time needed to be invested for an Iron Man account to start and finish the quest. I'm starting the list off with number 10, Land of the Goblins, because of the difficult and sad emotions you go through for losing Zanuck. Just kidding, in 10th place is actually Beneath Cursed Sands, because of the difficult boss fight with the Menethite Ack. With low ping, this fight is even more difficult and you can easily be comboed for over 60 damage. This is the quest you need to complete if you want to access the Tombs of a Mascot. Number 9, Recipe for Disaster. Whilst the stat requirements are not too hefty, aside from the 70 cooking, and the boss fights are not too difficult, this quest is notorious for having one of the largest quest requirements in the game, needing a total of 175 quest points just to finish it. At the time of its release, as the 100th quest in the game, it was pretty much required that you had completed almost all the other quests in the game at the time. Completing it is worth it though, as you get one of the best rewards, the Barrow's Gloves, which for a long time were the best item in the game for the glove slot. Number 8, Secrets of the North. This quest has an agility requirement of level 69, and also a hefty amount of quest requirements too. But most significantly, the Phantom Musper boss fight is difficult for players with almost no PvM knowledge. Aside from the typical prayer and gear switches that you need, there's a shield phase where the Musper activates a soul split prayer that will heal it with each successful hit on you, and you need to switch to smite with enchanted sapphire bolts. Number 7, Sins of the Father. This quest has a very difficult final boss, Van Strom Klaus. If you have low ping, you can easily be comboed for large amounts of damage. Also, this isn't a boss fight that you're going to easily defeat unless you have minimally decent gear and supplies. For players with little PvM experience, it can take many attempts to learn the mechanics and defeat him. Number 6, A Night at the Theatre. This quest is basically a Theatre of Blood run with some bits of lore in between the fights. The reason I put this quest so high on the list is because of how difficult even a novice run of the Theatre of Blood can be for inexperienced players. On the other hand, if you have friends or a team that can carry you, then this quest isn't difficult and probably wouldn't even make the top 10, but for anyone who's attempting this solo, then I wish you the best of luck. Number 5, Monkey Madness 2. This quest has a Slayer requirement of 69 and crafting level 70, which are slow grinds especially for Iron Men. This quest is also very long and has a decently difficult final boss. Considering that at the time of the release of this quest, there weren't any fights in the game that required the player to both do prayer and gear switches, even the demonic gorillas brought a challenging aspect for inexperienced players. Number 4, While Guthix Sleeps. With hefty skill and quest requirements, needing a total of 180 quest points just to start it, this is one of the longest quests in the game. The Surok Magis boss fight has some mechanics that are different to any other fight in the game, and the Balanced Elemental requires a lot of focus and decent gear, as you're going to have to correctly do prayer and gear switches at a faster and faster rate. Number 3, Dragon Slayer 2. This very long quest has some of the highest skill requirements to even start, with 75 magic, 70 smithing and 68 mining. Also, you need 200 quest points. You're taken all over Gielinor to complete this quest, and most notoriously, it has one of the most unforgiving final bosses, Galvek. Just making one bad move and stepping one tile to the side can easily be the end of your hardcore Iron Man status. Number 2, Song of the Elves. Have you seen these skill requirements? This is undoubtedly the most difficult quest to even start as an Iron Man, and I'd say this is true for a normal account too. Bringing a close to the notorious Elf quest line, this is one of the longest quests in the game, and the final boss fight, Seren, can be considered possibly the most difficult boss fight in any quest. I didn't put Song of the Elves in first place because of the Phoenix Necklace method, which honestly saved me from having to get higher combat stats and better gear. And coming in at number 1, Desert Treasure 2. It should be no surprise that this comes in first place. The skill and quest requirements are extensive, but the boss fights are considered by most players to be the most difficult out of every quest in the game. Vardorvis, the Leviathan, Duke Cecellus, the Whisperer, and then at the end, the 4-boss marathon of the Forsaken Assassin, Kettler the Unworthy, Kasson the Craven, and Preston the Deceitful. Altogether, these fights, on top of an already very long quest, makes Desert Treasure 2 the most difficult quest in the game. Do you agree with my list? What would you put differently? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. like and subscribe, and make sure to turn on the notification bell, join the channel, support my Patreon, and then visit the store to buy my shirt, and click the affiliate link as well. I don't think I'm forgetting anything.